YouTube, it's Carrie. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be doing the 20 questions tag, which was originally created by Steve Donahue, and I was tagged to do this video by Ramsey over at Rajathon, and you should definitely check out his channel if you haven't done so already, but I'm kind of assuming that if you're at my channel, you probably know about some of these other channels. But thanks for the tag, because this is a really interesting one. So number one is, what is the nearest place to you that's so famous everybody knows it? This would have to be Appomattox Courthouse, which is of course where General Robert E. Lee surrendered the Army of Northern Virginia to General Ulysses S. Grant, which signaled the end of the American Civil War. Number two, have you ever had a paper cut so bad you thought you might die of it? I'm not that dramatic. I don't think that I've ever had a paper cut so bad I thought I would die, but I did have a pretty bad paper cut at work one day that caused me to bleed through 2 or 3 bandages, and I ended up having to go to the office and ask the secretary for some extra band-aids, and it did cause a little bit of a stir in the office because there was a lot of blood, so everyone was curious what happened, and it was just a paper cut. Number three, have you ever found anything genuinely valuable in a used book you bought? I can't say that I have. I've found notes, I've found plane tickets, I found other ticket stubs, receipts, nothing really of any value. Number four, have you ever read, met, or married Jacques Barzun? I can't say that I have, and just like Ramsey, I did not know who that was, so I did look it up prior to this video, and I may have read him in some educational textbook or, heard of him in some sort of educational philosophy class, but the name honestly didn't ring a bell. So he seemed like a very interesting guy though when I read a little about him, so very cool question. Number five, aside from your pets, what is the specific non-human animal you see most often? Birds. And the reason that I notice them is because I have a very intense, strong, irrational fear of them. So I probably notice them a bit more than your average person, but they do kind of freak me out a little bit. So I do take note of where they are and what they're doing. So yeah, I know it's weird. Number six, have you ever been inside a cathedral, and if more than one, do you have a favorite? I have not. Unfortunately, I'm not very well traveled, so a lot of these questions will be boring. Number seven, have you ever been actually seeing and hearing things delirious? No, thank goodness. Number eight, do you have blood relatives who read for pleasure? I do. I have a dad who reads a good bit when he has the opportunity, and I have a couple of aunts who are readers who also happen to have a background in education, so that definitely makes sense. Number nine, how many species have you smooched? Smack dab on the lips. One, human. I'm not one that actually kisses pets. I don't do kisses on the mouth with animals just because I have seen the other places where their mouths go, and I just can't. Number 10, do you ever listen to the radio and any favorite program or person? Yes, and I love this question because I listen to Coast to Coast AM, which is a nightly paranormal radio talk show, and it's hosted typically by George Norrie, but there are also guest hosts sometimes on the weekends, and George Knapp is one of them. He's very interested in UFOs, and some of the guest hosts kind of have their own little niches in the paranormal arena. I think it's Lisa Garr, who maybe is the Bigfoot aficionado. So I do enjoy that nightly show. They do have some serious topics on there as well. But of course, the reason that I became interested in that show is because they typically have a lot of programming related to John F. Kennedy and his assassination, and there's a variety of different topics on that show, from alternative health to near-death experiences, ghosts, conspiracy theories, all of that sort of fun stuff that I enjoy listening to. Number 11, have you ever been to the Eiffel Tower, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or the Louvre? No, I've never actually been on a plane, so that kind of narrows it down a bit as far as travel is concerned. Number 12, what little thing do you miss most that you've lost due to the pandemic? I would say giving people hugs, because that is something that, where I'm from, it's just kind of a natural thing that you do to people that you're friends with or close to. And so now there's that awkward moment when you see someone and you would normally hug this person, but you don't, and it just kind of leaves a really awkward moment, and it's something that I definitely miss. Number 13 is, what little thing do you miss least that you've lost due to the pandemic? I don't really miss being so close to strangers out in public. I kind of enjoy the 6 feet distancing when it comes to people I don't know. It makes going out to crowded public places a little bit less intense or kind of stimulating. So I like to have my personal space out in public, and so that is one thing that I hope is continued post-pandemic. Number 14, what's your relationship with small talk? Hate it like acid, love it, merely competent? I would say I'm competent at small talk. I don't hate it, but I prefer to have discussions that are a little bit more meaningful, and sometimes small talk can lead to a deeper, more in-depth discussion. Number 15, have you ever won at gambling? I don't like to gamble. I would rather keep my money than risk it. So I'm not a gambler, and I can't say that I've ever won anything. My husband teases me because I don't even like, a $5 bet on a football game, or, buying lottery tickets or anything like that. However, a few years back, I did purchase a $100 raffle ticket for a Downton Abbey trip through PBS. And so we had a good laugh about that. But I figured I would like to give to PBS anyway, and so that was just my donation. I hadn't given before, so I just kind of gave all at once and took my chance. I did not win, obviously, because I haven't been on a plane. Did not get to see Highclere Castle, but yeah, that's my one story about a gamble. Number 16, do you ever give money or time to charities? This is another one that my husband and I kind of laugh about, because I do give to charities, and it's one of the reasons why we receive so much mail, because once you give to one organization, I think the last organization I gave to was the USO. Once you give to one organization, you are inundated with mail from all sorts of charitable organizations, and they really pull at your heartstrings and really work on those guilt trips. Number 17. Do you craft, knit, crochet, woodwork, or pottery? No, I don't craft. Reading is my hobby, so yeah, I don't really have a creative sort of crafty hobby. Number 18, do you talk to yourself when you're alone? Can't really say that I do. I would say, I guess everyone talks to themselves in their head, but I don't really do that out loud. Number 19, are you a social queen bee in college? No, I wasn't a queen bee any time in my life, I don't think. But I was very social in college, and I was part of an organization that gave campus tours and that sort of thing. So I was social, but I would not say I was any sort of queen bee. I had 2 jobs in college, so it was a little bit difficult to be kind of in a lot of those social organizations. Number 20, are you a sunrise person or a sunset person? I would say I'm definitely a sunset person. I've never really been a morning person. I have trained myself to be more of a morning person and wake up earlier and be happy about it and start the day off right, but that doesn't come naturally to me. So seeing the sunrise is not something that I tend to do often. And if I'm on vacation, I don't wake up early to see the sunrise. Sunsets are a bit more beautiful in my opinion, so that's the answer to that. I'm going to tag 5 different channels that I really enjoy. The first is Margaret Pinard. The second is Attention. The third is Tom at LA Books. Number 4 is Guilty Feet. And number 5 is Dostoevsky in Space. And all of those channels are really awesome. And all of those people are really awesome participants in this booktube community. They put out a lot of very interesting content, and they are very active in supporting other booktubers. And so if you don't already know about these channels, please make sure to check them out. And I hope you guys are having a great day. I enjoyed doing this tag, so thanks, Ramsey, and I will see you all in my next video.